Titanfall 3 dev reveals game was in development for 10 months before cancellation. Internet mourn. No.
Every once in a while, the gaming news cycle will make gamers ask,
why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Titanfall, man.
Yeah.
Titanfall. It cannot catch a break.
Bro, Titanfall 3 is never going to come out.
2 came out to critical acclaim, but it was kind of doomed to die because of the timing in which it was launched.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when Titanfall 2 exactly came out. It was like a mishmash of like other like AAA games, so because of that, it didn't sell as well because like if you're like a young gamer bro, you're not made of money. You got to ask your mom and dad for money. And when you just buy a game and then again another game comes out like a week later, they're like, "No, I got you a game last week. You still got that other game you got to play." You're not getting a game a week, you know?
It was sandwiched right between frickin' Battlefield and Call of Duty, and so
Which is really sad in retrospect because I don't remember exactly what installations of those games are, like what version of Call of Duty and what version of Battlefield, because currently modern day Call of Duty and modern day Battlefield are complete ass. And Titanfall did not deserve to be sandwiched between those two things or whatever.
so it kind of got lost. And ever since we've wanted a sequel, properly made, properly released. The potential of Titanfall is immense. And while Respawn did launch Apex Legends and it's been widely successful.
Yeah, but Apex Legends ain't Titanfall. No matter how much Titanfall shit they try to cram in there or whatever. Be like, guys, we just released a character that can fly up. And the character had a dad that was, a main enemy, a main bad guy in Titanfall 2. So there's your Titanfall fix. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Give me Titanfall 3. All right? In Titanfall, you can essentially play like an entire match of like TDM just running on the walls and grappling. It is entirely possible to not even touch the ground in a match of that game. It is so cool and it feels good. All right? It's not like some cheesy there was like some Call of Duty that tried to do that or whatever, and I didn't play it because I just decided it was like a good long couple years where I was like, I'm done with Call of Duty. This franchise is shit. I mean, it still is, but it was like earlier. But, I do remember there being a Call of Duty that tried to recreate the whole wall running aspect, and they just failed. Like, nobody from that audience liked it because they were so used to, boots on the ground and all that stuff that they weren't used to all the movement that you could get from like grappling and wall running and like double and triple jumping and whatnot. But if you did like stuff like that, there was an entirely new separate IP that did it and did it correctly, and it felt good, and it was called Titanfall.
It still doesn't change the fact that people are clamoring for a campaign experience in the world of Titanfall and that multiplayer involving mechs. And
yeah,
it just feels like
because the mechs in Titanfall weren't even like that crazy overpowered. It is entirely possible for like a person to whip out like their anti-Titan gun and just, gun down a Titan. Granted, it would take you a little while, but it was like the balance was so good because an entire level how it's crafted is not only good when you're like just a foot soldier just like grappling and wall running around. It was also good when you call down a mech and your character becomes like gigantic. You hop in there, and the level is also good for like a mech sized character like going around and navigating through the terrain. It succeeded on so many different levels.
Like, well, we're never going to get that. Now, back in February of 2023, we heard about the cancellation of a Titanfall project. This is an article from Jason Schreier. The headline reads, Electronic Arts cancels secret Apex Legends game in development.
Good. I don't want to play a standalone Apex game. The standalone Apex game was Titanfall. I don't want the physics of Apex in its own game. I want Titanfall.
Scrolling further down, EA canceled the game based on the popular Apex Legends and Titanfall franchises, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. And at the time, we only had very vague details about this project, that it was codenamed TFL, or Titanfall Legends, was a single-player game set in the universe shared by the Apex Legends and Titanfall games.
Nobody wants that game. What they call it? Apex... What? Titanfall Legends? Nobody wants that game. They just want Titanfall. All right? You're trying to, like... If you look at the movement in Apex, yeah, it's, like, kind of robust. But, like, who's playing Apex Legends? A lot of controller players, you know? And you want to compare the movement of a controller player to the movement of an M&K player, it's night and day. So why would you even try to do that, recreate that in an entirely different game? Just make Titanfall.
It was directed by veteran designer Mohamed Alavi until he left the company in early 2022. Although the game hadn't been advertised, EA had hinted at it several times. Fans have been clamoring for a new single-player entry in the critically acclaimed Titanfall series for several years. A planned 3rd game morphed into Apex Legends. Ever since this article came out, fans have been wondering just what the hell happened. What could have possibly drove them to cancel a Titanfall 3? Well, this...
Also, take a shot every time myself or Yong says Titanfall.
This was all further elaborated on by none other than veteran designer Mohamed Alavi, who was directing the project until he left the company in 2022. And here's the crazy part. As it turns out, it wasn't EA's executive decision to cancel Titanfall 3 and transition into the development of Apex Legends. That was actually Respawn's decision. And what makes all...
Yeah, the Respawn, the crumbling skeleton that was like the original Respawn team. Because in case you don't know, Respawn was originally created by the main developers that were responsible for making the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like 2004 or 5, like Modern Warfare 2, and I'm not sure if they made anything else. The game, like the games that everybody references, like back in the day, they separated and like left whatever that company was, like the Call of Duty company. They made Respawn, made Titanfall 1 and 2, and then after like a certain amount of time, you know, Apex came out, and they hung around for Apex, and then a couple months later, they just dipped out of Respawn. All right, so they're off doing their own thing. I don't know if they're gonna make games anymore. I don't know if they're going to do like their own company again. I mean, if I was them, I'd be like, well, we tried it once and look what happened. It's just, you know, a big corporation gets their money grubbing mitts in there, and it's like they ruin everything. So the original developers that separated from Call of Duty are no longer at Respawn, and Respawn is just its own thing. All right. The original like heart is not there anymore.
All this especially sting is that Titanfall 3 was actually in development for quite some time before its cancellation. It was in development for 10 months before being canceled, ex-developer claims. This is a story from June 13th, 2023. And you can see right here that this story has gone viral. Already 11 million views, this one tweet alone, 11.6 thousand likes. This is a testament to how beloved Titanfall is, just how much people are craving for a sequel with a proper campaign and multiplayer experience. That beautiful gameplay that combined boots on the ground and also mechs in the
and also boots on the wall.
The seamless experience that was just so freaking epic. You can see how beloved Titanfall is by not only the viewership here, but by the responses where people are just completely mourning the news that Titanfall 3 could have been a possibility before its cancellation. And just the feeling that it feels like it's never going to happen, even though no series right now feels more deserving of a sequel than Titanfall.
Yeah.
Given what it
Like, honestly, I don't think they 100% canceled it. They just moved it back like X amount of degrees or X amount of years. Because honestly, it's like a really good, IP. It will make money if they choose to develop it and sell it, with modern gaming marketing tactics. I don't think they like 100% canceled it. Like the word cancel just means we moved it back in the line, with whatever they're gonna like for. So Respawn's gonna put their focus into like something else. Probably, I mean, I don't know what. It's moved further in the back, and they just put the word cancel on it. So who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like a 100% cancel. We're not doing shit with it anymore.
accomplished, given the potential that it has with modern technology, with modern graphics,
with modern gaming marketing tactics, like games as a live service and battle passes and cosmetics that you can buy from the store. That's what I want in my Titanfall, 100%.
I mean, just imagine what Titanfall 3 could look like.
Just imagine a single gun. Like, you guys remember the car from Titanfall 2? Imagine if you had like 100 attachments that you had to grind 100 different levels just to make the Titanfall 2 car, That's what would happen if Titanfall 3 were to come out, If you think it would be anything close to Titanfall 2, you would be severely mistaken in this. It's insane. You think Titanfall 3 won't have battle passes? You think it wouldn't have a live service? They wouldn't peg that in there? You got the free battle pass, you got the paid battle pass, you got the super battle pass, you got the ultra battle pass.
In 2023 or in this generation of consoles. So yeah, the memes and the outpouring of sadness is palpable. So
honestly, I mean, yeah, Titanfall 3 would be cool, but like, where's Titanfall 2 remastered? All right, where's that? You don't like the company doesn't even take care of the Titanfall 2 servers. Like anytime I try to like log in, it's like it's dog shit. It's getting DDoSed or whatever. There's cheaters and hackers running around everywhere, like every other Call of Duty title that is in the grave. So it's like you have to, if you want to play Titanfall 2, you have to go on the North Star server. All right, so hey, just make Titanfall 2 remastered and actually like keep up with it. It's not tough.
But what exactly happened behind the scenes? Well, this was all detailed by Mohammed Alabi, a former game designer for Titanfall, when he engaged with an interview with this outlet called the Burns Network. And this right here is the whole excerpt, the whole shebang on what he said about Titanfall 3's development and why 3 was canceled, why Apex Legends was favored. So here's what he had to say. Titanfall 2, came out, did what it did, and we're like, okay, we're going to make Titanfall 3, and we worked on Titanfall 3 for 10 months, right? In earnest, right? I mean, we had like new tech for it, we had multiple missions going, we had a first playable, which was like on par to be just as good, if not better, than whatever we had before.
So, okay, so this is an aside. I don't know why, but like, when journalists try to type out a conversation that they like record or whatever, or they like videotape, but like we're not going to use the video, we're just going to type everything out phonetically. And it turns out like this, where there's like in natural conversation, there's pauses, there's ums, there's likes, there's ya knows. I thought it was the job of the journalist to, make that person sound like a legible like person. What is happening here is like they are just literally copy pasting what is actually said instead of like taking a sentence with like all these like commas and like little dots and like whatever that symbol is, and they're just like transcribing it like pause for pause, thing for thing, and it's like when I read it, it's kind of hard to read. Just give me a sentence, I mean, how many times have I said, and it's like, just make that person, you don't have to change what they say. Just make that person sound like a legible person. this is like a stupid pet peeve I have.
Right, yeah, just sprinkle that salt on the wound. He's basically saying the development of this game was shaping up pretty well. But he continued, I'll make this clear, incrementally better, it wasn't revolutionary. And that's the kicker, right? And we're like feeling pretty decent about it, but not the same feeling as Titanfall 2, where we were making something revolutionary, you know what I mean? And then the multiplayer team was happy.
So he was kind of hinting at it was probably more along the lines of Titanfall 2.5 than actually Titanfall 3. You know, as far as the multiplayer, you know, I think they could have made like a really good, like outstanding single player, because the Titanfall 2 single player campaign was awesome.
Having a hell of a time trying to fix the multiplayer because a lot of people love the multiplayer. People love Titanfall 2 multiplayer, but people who love Titanfall 2 multiplayer is a very small number of people, which I'd say in large part has to do with the way EA doomed Titanfall 2 by launching it sandwiched smack between the two biggest first-person shooter IPs
at the time
in gaming history, Battlefield and Call of Duty. I think these numbers could have been significantly bigger had EA not launched Titanfall 2 during such a packed and busy month. But at the same time, Mohammed makes the case that while Titanfall 2 is a great game and it's a fun experience, it's just not as accessible. There's just too much going on. He says that most people play Titanfall 2 multiplayer and think it's really good, but it's just too much. It's cranked up to 11 and they burn out a bit fast. And they're like, that was a great multiplayer. That's not something I continually play for like a year or two, right? So we're like trying to fix that. We're trying to fix that from Titanfall 1 to Titanfall 2, trying to fix it from 2 to 3. The multiplayer team was like just dying. So I guess they were trying.
Okay, so Titanfall 2 multiplayer is very high octane, very high skill expression, but that's just the game. All right. Now, understandably, Respawn, you know, is a business, and the goal of a business is to make money. And how do you make money? You try to appeal to the most amount of people. But the issue with that is when you appeal to the most amount of people and you try to get a bunch of people to try to play your high skill ceiling based game, most people, 99% of the time, it just suck. All right. And because they suck, they don't want to play. They don't want to get better unless there's some sort of incentive. But hey, it's a video game. Why am I playing a video game to be incentivized to like play it more? It's high skill ceiling and high skill expression. I don't want to put the time in effort into this investment. So that's the issue.
Trying to figure out how to make Titanfall just feel more accessible, less just, I don't know, like there was just too much happening at once. Like these multiplayer matches can be pretty intense. When you think about just how much is happening in terms of mobility options and the mechs coming into play and the dichotomy that causes and the strategic implications of all of that, there's definitely a lot happening in these multiplayer matches compared to your typical multiplayer experiences.
But it was fun. Nobody said you have to play the multiplayer 24/7. All right? If you're a casual, you can jump in for like an hour or two, just enjoy your time and then get out. All right? Nobody said you have to make this your job. No one is trying to play the game 24/7. Even like your streamer bros that are trying to play the game at like 8, 10, 12, 16 hours a day. You know, that's mentally tough.
These are typical shooters, but I feel like that's part of the charm. But I guess, I don't know if there's a good balance to find between.
Yeah, because as it is right now in the FPS community, like what FPS it like replicates this like high octane arena style gameplay? There is none. There is absolutely none.
Between the Titanfall gameplay that people love that is just so intense, and there is a lot going on, but that's what makes it so adrenaline infused and so exciting, but also trying to find a way to dial things down where they need to be so that more people can play these games without feeling like there's just too much happening on screen. I don't know, for me, Titanfall never felt like too much. But then again, compared to something like Call of Duty, there are more layers. So for mass audiences beyond just your hardcore players, maybe it is not as appealing. And so them trying to dial that apparently proved to be a challenge. But then, during the development of Titanfall 3, PUBG came out, says Mohammed. And I don't know if you remember Alex Rojcevic. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. But Alex was starting to play PUBG, and then Jeff started playing PUBG, and then they made a Battle Royale map with, Titanfall 3 classes. And there is essentially the origin story of Apex Legends. That's where they got the light bulb to be like, why don't we make a battle royale? It was actually just Respawn.
And that was the in the beginning moment.
Trend chasing, but also seeing the potential in taking the classes that they built for Titanfall 3 and making a genuinely fun and innovative battle royale. And to Apex Legends' credit, it's doing really well because it got in early enough before the market got oversaturated.
Currently, in Apex Legends, with the current ranking system, I think there's something like, I don't know, of the entire concurrent player base, which is like, I don't know, you can go on like Steam charts and at least look at like the PC concurrent players. About, what is it? I would say at least a third of the player base is in the master rank, which is like, compared to other ladders, other FPS ladders, is like supposedly the top 1% of the ranks in the player base. So when you have 30% of your players in the top 1%, they just have that rank, then yeah, you're gonna get the game is gonna get perceived as like, oh my god, it's so fun! Look at all these Masters players! Oh, it's awesome!
Saturated, and they put their own unique spin on it. And so Apex Legends it really does feel like they didn't just copy and paste. It feels like they took a genre and they ran with it and did their own thing with it. And it succeeded really well. It's still played by, I mean, millions and millions of people. It's raking in a lot of money. And, in terms of the business side of things, it was the right call.
Yeah. I mean, then it was the right call. And even now, currently, Apex is killing it.
Like, Respawn has succeeded greatly as a studio, and, it's raked in a lot of money for EA. And so EA is, I think, more willing to give a studio like Respawn carte blanche and trust because they've had such a consistent track record. And now with the Star Wars Jedi series of releases, the single-player Star Wars games, those have been doing really well critically and commercially. And so, look, I'm not necessarily saying it was the worst decision or even the wrong one. It's just a tragic decision given how much people desire a Titanfall 3, and hopefully it's something that's still somewhere down the pipeline. Hopefully it's not something that they're casting aside.
Yeah, it's most likely down the pipeline, but the issue with that is all the people that originally were like excited for Titanfall 3, like they're all grown up now, they're all adults. Like they don't care about that shit anymore. I mean, yeah, you're going to have like a percentage of people that are like, "Oh, yeah, finally, I'm 35 and Titanfall 3 is coming out," or I can't even say 35. It's more likely in like when I'm 40, Titanfall 3 is going to come out or whatever. And it's like by that time, all your original like audience from Titanfall 2, they don't give a shit about the game anymore because you took too long.
Especially with modern technology, to be able to take Titanfall gameplay and visuals to a whole new level. Mohammed then continues that at the time, I had just literally become the narrative lead designer on Titanfall 3. I had just pitched the story, the whole game that me and Manny had come up with, made this big presentation, and then we went off a break and went back from break, and we talked about it, and we were like, yeah, we need to pivot, and we need to make this game Apex Legends. So once again, it wasn't EA executives who stepped in. We're like, no Titanfall 3 for you, no Titanfall 3 for gamers. It was Respawn who just looked at their current situation.
Yeah.
They were developing Titanfall 3 and they were going, this is just like, it's better than Titanfall 2.
Yeah, they saw the trend and they adapted to the trend. All right, because not gonna lie, battle royales have been killing it for like the last 10 to 15 years.
But it's not this huge leap. So instead of making an iteration of something that didn't quite succeed financially, they decided, let's try to make something new and different and try to follow this trend while putting our unique spin on it and see if we can make a successful game out of that. And to Respawn's credit, they did make a very successful product.
Yep.
But we still need Titanfall 3. We still want that. Hopefully the success of Apex Legends will give them more breathing room to make projects like Titanfall 3.
Or the success of Apex Legends will give them more breathing room to make more skins for Apex Legends. More likely the case.
and allow them to have just more time, less pressure, just more freedom, because they've kind of set themselves with Apex Legends. They've certainly fallen in EA's good graces, and as a studio and with how much money they're making from Apex Legends, I feel like they've stabilized, and so maybe that'll allow them to really make Titanfall 3 a big leap from Titanfall 2 is the hope, and maybe that will finally inspire them to give us what so many people desire. But yeah, Mohammed further extrapolates on why Titanfall 3 just didn't feel right at the time. We literally canceled Titanfall 3 ourselves because we're like, we can make this game and it's going to be Titanfall 2 plus a little better.
Yeah.
Or we can make this thing Apex Legends, which is clearly amazing. And don't get me wrong, I will always miss having another Titanfall, you know what I mean? I love that game. Titanfall 2, like I said, is my most crowning achievement. But it was the right call, Mohammed believes. He concludes by saying, that is a crazy cut. Such a crazy cut that EA didn't even know about it for another 6 months. Which further highlights that EA executives had nothing to do with the cancellation of Titanfall 3. They didn't even know about it until 6 months after Respawn decided we're not doing Titanfall 3. So, you know, Respawn led EA to huge financial success just off of their own decision to be like, let's try something different this time. Let's try a battle royale and let's see if we can bring something unique to it. Fascinating.
You see that little hesitation about how his mind was just blown, like mine is right now too? It's like, I can't believe it. They just made the decision themselves to just stop because of the current trend. I'm thinking the same thing, dude. I'm just in awe.
New revelation right there. EA wasn't trying to keep Respawn on a leash. They were saying, hey, if you want to make Titanfall 3, make Titanfall 3. It was Respawn who said, maybe not. What about this other thing that, you know, we came up with after PUBG inspired this, and it's kind of really fun. Why not lean in this direction? And, you know, a lot of people enjoy Apex Legends, to be fair, but...
Oh, yeah. Look at his face, dude. He is so distraught. I'm in the same boat as him, man. I'm in the same boat.
We want Titanfall. Isn't that crazy? The timing of PUBG's release is essentially what killed Titanfall because...
Fucking PUBG? It's your fault I don't have Titanfall 3. Stupid ass PUBG.
It inspired Apex Legends. It inspired this pivot. And I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that, obviously.
Yeah.
But, as long as Titanfall 3 is still a possibility sometime in the future, you know, I say let them take as much time as they need to really make a version of a Titanfall sequel.
Yeah, they're still gonna... They got to make a couple more billion off of Apex first, though. So that's going to take a couple years.
That will allow the IP to really take a big leap. And with Apex Legends being so successful, expanding on the lore, and with a lot of learnings, no doubt, coming from Apex Legends, maybe this will allow Titanfall 3 to be that much better when it one day launches compared to what it would have been.
It won't be. It won't. Whatever pedestal you have placed and you have built Titanfall 3 up to be, it will not be that. You know? It's going to be modern gaming. All right? Remember that term. Modern gaming. Thank you, Ackman. You know? Battle passes. Microtransactions. What else? 100 attachments. You unlock an attachment for each gun level. Timed little tokens to get like, oh, you killed a guy, but, you know, you unlock this token that gives you plus gun XP, plus player XP. Oh, and now since there's mechs, it's like you get mech XP. Oh, we could add attachments to the mechs. And then you have mech skins. You can have prestige mech skins. You can have mythic mech skins. You get skins for your skins. All right? Titanfall 3 releasing in a modern day is only going to be bad. All right? I don't want to say that, but most likely that's what would happen. You think they would come out with mechs and not give them... Bro, there would be like 50... What are the heirlooms in Apex? Those are, you know, equivalent to $500 of just an heirloom. You know? Bro, they could give mechs heirlooms. They can give, like, the player soldiers heirlooms. All right? That would all come back. They would have loot boxes in that game, too. It would be a shadow of its former self. You know? $50 skins. Like, $500 heirlooms. Like, they would bring back all that oh, here's the blue quality skins, here's the yellow quality skins, here's the purple ones, here's the legendary ones. Like, all that shit would be in there, you know? It's not going to be Titanfall 2, where it's like, oh, just level up the gun a little bit. And then there's like, oh, because what, in Titanfall 2, there's like 5 or 6 attachments per gun, but you don't even really need them because the gun itself is just good.
Just sort of an iteration of 2 had it launched, you know, when it was meant to launch before Apex Legends. So I don't know. Maybe good things will come out of this in the end, but for now, fans are mourning about what could have been and what didn't end up happening, and are still keeping their fingers crossed that there is hope yet for the Titanfall series specifically. Hope can be dangerous when it comes to the Titanfall series, but
hope can be dangerous when it comes to anything modern gaming related.
I feel like the fact that any breadcrumbs surrounding Titanfall's development or a potential Titanfall 3 can go this viral might give Respawn and EA the inspiration to be like, you know what, clearly, you know, people want this. And if we can market it right, release it at the right time, and make...
Bro, how funny would it be if they released it like right after a Call of Duty or right before a Battlefield, just for old time's sake? That would be the funniest shit.
The big next steps that the series needs to take from a gameplay and visual perspective to really stand out. Maybe it can be a successful product. Maybe it'll get them in that mindset, because I do think Titanfall 3 can be extremely successful if they get it right. I mean, mechs with freaking boots on the ground, futuristic shooter, like, what is there not to love about that, right?
Yeah.
Or at least that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on these latest revelations surrounding this canceled Titanfall 3 project, and whether you think there's hope for an eventual Titanfall 3 release. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Oh, best part. Oh man.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, like, yeah, I would love to have a Titanfall 3, but it wouldn't be what I would want it to be. It would be a live service. It would have stores. It would have skins on skins. It would have pointless leveling up of your soldier, your gun, your mech, your mech's guns. It would have all of that dog shit. All right, so it is what it is. Good video though. I had no idea that was a thing, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say, and see you guys next time. Later.